War Eagle Auburn family, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about what's going on in the world of the Auburn family spectrum. It is Wednesday night and has been the case since the dawn of time at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We get together, we sit down, and just hash it out here as the Auburn family. Everything is fair game here because this is a show that is created by you, for you, produced by you in a sense, because it is all about your comments, your questions, derogatory rebuttals, and even your calls tonight, which will open up the phone lines here in just a little bit. All of that is on the table tonight, and I'm sure there are plenty of things that you have on your mind. But before we do that, most of you all know the drill here. It is check-in time on the show, especially for those of you watching live, but you can do this on the replay too. Right now, everybody watching, if you can, make sure you smash that like button. It does help the stream out. Share it out on social media as well, the retweet button, all that kind of stuff. Share button on Facebook. Do that right now in unison together to just kind of declare to the Auburn family out there, come join us, be a part of our little family. And also right now, use this as your check-in period to post where you're watching from, city, state, international. It is Hey Day, by the way. So this would be a great way to say hey and to say that you are watching live. So post that in the chat right now as you come into the stream. As I said, the show on Wednesday nights is always about you and what you want to talk about. Just to kind of get the table set for you, some things that have been happening. Obviously, SEC Media Days or tip-off, however they want to market it for the SEC, for men's basketball, women's basketball, just got done today. For the men's side, finally got done today. Football's in its bye week, and all the things that kind of swirl around about that are fair game as well. It is Hey Day today. A lot of interesting things to talk about tonight that we could probably get into. So don't be shy. Jump into the chat, jump into the stream, and jump into calls if you would like to do so tonight. So with that being said, I will open up the call lines officially. It's always brought to you by our friends at All Things Auburn. See them coming up there on the screen right now. If you want to take advantage of the call-in link, and I would advise you, as is typical, don't wait. Utilize it early because we will, even though I got off to a little bit of a late start tonight, we'll be getting out of here right on time, if not a few minutes early. So don't hesitate. It is open now. Just hit the link at the top of the chat if you want to jump in. A lot of familiar faces popping in. Good to see you. It's going to destroy the bye week. It is probably the one team that Auburn is assured to beat this week, and that is the bye week. Every single week or every single year, we are undefeated against the bye week. Checking in from my neck of the woods. One day we got to meet, Neil. One day it has to happen. Jeff over on Facebook, thanks for checking in from Huntsville. Nice to see you. Kevin, excuse me, hold on, where it is. Kevin from Center Point, Alabama, checking in as well. Good to see all of your smiling faces. Thank you so much to everybody also who participated on social media, any of them today. For Hey Day, we always ask that everybody on social media post a War Eagle, on the post that we put up every year, and kind of shows us how far and expansive the Auburn family is, which is interesting because, you know, every year we get probably the same type of stage. You get your Alabamas, your Georgias, your Floridas, your Texas, Virginia we got this year. You know, the southern southeast states are not shocked, but it is always interesting to see how far the Auburn family extends. We had Minnesota, we had California as well, and I'm sure I'm missing a few of those right now. So plenty of opportunities today to kind of really grasp how big and how wide we we are as an Auburn family. Yeah, we can make that happen sometime. When are you coming to Auburn, Neil? Are you coming to Auburn ever? I'd love to make that happen, especially. That's like the easiest thing to do is just, hey, let's go meet in Auburn. But I know it seems it would make more sense. We're in the area. Clint's here, everybody. Say hey. Everybody wave hey to him on Hey Day. Thank you, Clint. Let's see here. Rise Life. I did a 15-minute QR Auburn versus Arkansas simulation on college football Heisman mode, I guess is what you mean. Auburn won 36-30 against Arkansas. Was on Revamped. Not sure what that means. It's been a while since I've got into the NCAA football world. I'm so ready for next year, though. We probably I hate to say it, but I think y'all might be inundated with a little bit of that here on the channel when we get around to next year about that time when NCAA rolls on around here. It'll be nice to have that back in our lives again. Auburn families worldwide. I met a few alumni in Honolulu. I've met them in Alaska, and then we've got stories like D Ford over in London and beyond that continue to happen. It's just crazy. I mean, the Auburn family just infects everywhere it goes. We're like a good plague. I won't go any further with that joke. So busy with the family. I get it. I get it. But you got to get over there, man. It's good stuff. I think everybody, especially during times like these where no everybody is kind of on edge about the football team and stuff like that. It's a good thing to go back and just realize that you love Auburn for more than just the football team, even though you may be going there to watch a football game or something like that. Big Simp checking in. How about them Tigers? Great effort in recruiting under. Well, that's a little mean, Big Simp. So let's keep that in check. But listen, I think one of the things that cannot be questioned about this team, and I hope you meant that too, is their effort and not giving up at this point. Recruiting actually, in my view, is going about as well as it could, considering all the circumstances around the fact that we were able to flip somebody from Michigan State in a much needed area last week was huge. I would hope that we've got a few more of those lined up, and I think if they would show them off a little bit, if we could get them to, hey, let's go ahead and commit, that would help out a little bit. I know you were, but all right, let's see. Or I think I did that one. You can see a high scoring game with Auburn, Arkansas. You know, gosh, I want to believe that. Because if it's high scoring, that means we've got something to be excited about. Listen, last game showed you that this team on the road could put something together. Granted, it was against the defense that probably was a little bit overestimated. Not as good as advertised as people were kind of making it out to be, in my opinion. I know that we can get off to a really good start at home. Let's see what happens when we try to finish at home, though. I have no doubts that we'll get off to a good start, though. 11-7-22. Oh, talking about the Arkansas game. Yeah. So is that happening right now, Unbeaten Lake? Is Jabari playing right now? I know that if that's the case, I know there was a contingency of Auburn fans and Auburn students that were coming to the game here in Atlanta to watch him play a little bit more. That'd be really cool. Yeah, listen, he's not a freshman. He's a rookie. And so they're going to probably they're probably going to make him earn his time and how much they give him the ball. And listen, it's the NBA too. NBA is not necessarily known for sharing. It's all about star power, making plays by yourself. And listen, I know a lot of you are huge NBA fans. I am not. I used to be, but I got jaded by just some of the personalities and attitudes and things like that. It's frustrating sometimes. Why is it Big Simp? It is hiding one of your things. Let me see if I can. Why is that interesting? Trying to see if I noticed I have two monitors going at the same time to monitor things. And it said one of your things was hidden, and I tried to unhide it, but it's not popping up on my screen. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, the point being, it's going to probably take some time for Jabari to show that he is everything that people think he is. Rob, good to see you. Checking in from Huntsville. Good to see you on Heyday. Thanks for being here. So what's really on y'all's minds with bye week right now? Is this a much needed thing for everybody? Kind of getting a stopping point on everything that's been going on. We came off of a game where we were not in the win column, but some positive things happened. What do you think? I mean, where are your minds at with all that? You call in whenever you would like, Kevin. The phone lines are open whenever you would like to take advantage of that. But yeah, I do think it's one of those times that we really could use kind of a reset button and just needed it to kind of mellow everybody out for a second. There was a little bit of angst still this week. I got into it with a bit on my personal Twitter account. I was hoping we'd get some people popping over here to tell me off a little bit, but I don't know if we're going to get any of those tonight. Usually when you see that type of stuff happen, they're usually not brave enough to come over and do it on the phone. We've had one person do it. That was about it. Much needed bye week. If Harsin can get the offense defense on the same page, isn't that really the frustrating thing, Neil? The frustrating thing is that we've been begging all season. Offense, show up for the defense. They show up, defense. What happens? They showed up at the beginning and they kind of faltered at the end. This is as boring as an answer as it is, and as frustrating as it is to continue to talk about it. This is what happens when we ask to do what we're doing, a complete changeover. Things are not going to be in complete alignment. And people keep using the Tennessee Josh Heupel example. And I'm sorry, that's just a bogus example. Not every situation is going to be the same. Is it great what he did? Did it show that can be done? Yes, but he is operating with the different circumstances than we were. Completely different circumstances. It's just good enough that he was able to kind of turn it around. So I don't buy into that hype at all. I know that's a very popular thing. Look at Josh Heupel. Look at Josh Heupel. Completely unrelated, completely different set of circumstances. Your mind's on Auburn basketball. Well, and this is a good week for it to be on Auburn basketball with the bye week and SEC media days. I think it was nice kind of to be able to focus on something a little bit different. And, Bruce Pearl just kind of naturally draws you into him every time he gets in front of a camera. Wendell carries himself very well on TV too. Didn't really think, it's not that I didn't think he was capable of it, but I kind of liked watching some of his interview moments, especially on the Paul Feinbaum show of all things today. Even though it really wasn't the Paul Feinbaum show, it was just we're cutting in from the Paul Feinbaum show, which I'm sure he loved about it. I have nothing to cheer for. Atlanta's out of the playoffs. Green Bay sucks, and AU keeps losing. Oh, goodness. Big Simp, the bogus pass interference call changed the momentum big time. The turds complained about bad calls. We get them too, but we're not whining like babies. Give me another cigar. Listen, one of the best things about this week has been just the unending excuse making, and just like it's comical at this point. It was sad. It was frustrating to see, like, really, y'all are going to be that hypocritical? But now it's just comical. I mean, the extent to which people from that side are trying to explain away that game. You lost. That's it. You lost. You're not as good as you thought you were. Things can change. Y'all turned it around before when you took an L. But my goodness, settle down. Act like you've been there before. That's what they always say. The other Auburn player, well, he was not an Auburn player. He almost would have been if it hadn't been for that dang G League. Currently has 7 points. Are they playing on the same team? I couldn't remember. Are they on the same team? Yes, they are. Insufferable. Witt says that we should RELAX. Relax. I'm all about relaxing here. War Eagle from the T-ball game. My son's team won, and they are going to the championship. I'm way too invested in this. Devin, you getting invested in things is the understatement of the year. At least this time you're invested in something that means a lot to your family. And I know Auburn means a lot to you too, but I'm sure your child means a lot more to you than that. Some of the Bama fans, though, I would ask that if that's actually reality for them. If I remember correctly, Heupel took over a team with offensive line built entirely of 5 stars. Again, unbeaten Lake. I'm going to say the thing that nobody likes. 5 stars. Stars don't matter. It matters what you do with them, not what their stars were. Now, listen, there are people that work. I know one of them personally in the recruiting industry and do a great job. A lot of hard work, effort, and research goes into this thing. I'm not saying that the stars aren't researched. That's not what I'm saying. But we put too much focus on them. matters what you do with them. So it's more impressive what Josh Heupel did with what he took over with, because Auburn had some better and some decent star-rated offensive linemen in the past couple of years as it's dwindled off, and you see what's happened. Stars don't matter. It matters what you do with them. Heupel, I'm very happy for him. I just don't like it when people use that as a comparison. Say, well, that's what we should be doing. No, it's not how it goes. Let's see. What's worse than the entire world knowing you're a cheater, cheating and losing to your rivals? Great game, Vols. I think we all know this. Everybody cheats in football. It's to what extent and how bad, whether it's on the recruiting trail. Everyone's trying to find where is the line for that advantage. So let's not act like we're immune to that in any way. Tennessee had some fantastic players. My goodness, Butch and Jeremy were idiots. Well, Jeremy, I had a friend who was so enamored with Jeremy Pruitt, and I told him, I was like, look, I know you think he's a good guy, but I think the proof is in the pudding. Maybe he's turned his life around. I don't know, but he just obviously wasn't a good fit there, and obviously everyone paid the price, or Tennessee paid the price for it for a while, and then it's finally working out for them. I compare Auburn to what we are doing and say that's not what we should be doing. I compare Auburn to what we are doing and say that's not what we should be doing. Fair, I guess. By the way, I hope you will forgive me for this, Auburn Elvis, but I do want to mention this, and we do have a caller. We'll take you in just a second. Auburn Elvis's mother just recently passed away, so my condolences. Again, I've expressed this to him privately, but publicly as well. I wanted to just kind of make you guys aware that he is dealing with that very tragic time right now. So we're thinking of you, Auburn Elvis, and obviously my prayers go out to you. I'm sure many others do as well. During this time, we appreciate you being part of our little family. So I'll leave it at that and won't get too mushy about all those things. All right. We'll get back to some comments, questions, and derogatory rebuttals in just a second here, but let's take our first caller of the night. He's one of the best, most optimistic guys out there that I know, Mr. Kevin. How's it going, sir?
Where you go, Cal? How you doing?
I'm doing good. You always bring a smile to my face, so that is a good thing. So I appreciate you calling in.
I think this off week will help us to win the rest 5 games.
I hope so, because we really could use it. You think we can beat Alabama?
Yeah.
Why do you think we can beat Alabama? Just because Tennessee did it doesn't mean we can do it.
Tennessee did it.
Well, he literally said, listen, I would love to think that that's all it takes is Tennessee to beat them, and that proves we can do it. I'm going to need to see a lot more. But here's what I do know. I do know that the bye week couldn't have come at a better time, right? Because we had some injuries and things like that. But there obviously is a lot that we still need to work on and get better at. So maybe you're right. Maybe we'll go on the upswing here and finish out strong on the season.
I like how Robbie Ashford been running the ball.
He ran a little bit in the last game. I think we would have preferred to see a little bit more. But I also like the way he stood in the pocket a lot. You know, he gets told sometimes, "Hey, you run too much." But you got to be more well-rounded and then play off the strengths that you have in those situations where the play breaks down a little bit.
You know, I know him personally.
Do you? When did you meet him?
He played at Hoover High School.
And did you meet him there?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay. But that was probably what, like 3 years ago?
Yeah, 2 or 3 years ago.
Was Hoover High School still good back then? I can't remember. Are they good now?
Yeah, they're 8-1 and
okay.
5-0 playing Thompson this week.
Well, I know Thompson's supposed to be a good team, right?
Yeah, 7-2.
Oh, there you go. Well, I'm sure that's going to be a great matchup.
And I'm in Center Point this week because I'm going to my old high school to watch them play Friday night.
That sounds like a lot of fun. You got anything to say about Auburn basketball since that's on the news today?
I think we might win the West again.
You think we might win the West? Well, listen, I hope so, buddy. I really do. I just right now I'm not gonna buy into that, but I believe that we are capable of it. That's what I will say.
How about how about how about the number 6 or and number 22 on football?
You're talking about Javaris Johnson or DJ James? Because I think
Um,
6 is DJ James is 6. I think on. Are you talking about the wide receiver number 6,
yeah, wide receiver,
Javaris
Javaris
Johnson?
Johnson.
Yeah, we didn't get the ball to him a lot in this last game, which was a little bit odd, but we got the ball to a lot of other different wide receivers, which I like to see because we got so
Yeah,
much talented athletes out there. Let's get into a variety of guys' hands who can do a variety of different things. 22, Damari Alston. Is that who you're talking
yeah,
about, right?
yeah. Mario Austin.
Yeah, he had a pretty good run there. I think he was 2 run attempts for 12 yards, so about 6
Yeah,
yards per carry. That one big run he had. I'm excited about his future, man.
I will. I might see you at Tiger Walk next Saturday.
Well, I need it to happen, Kevin. I don't need it to be a might. This has got to happen.
My sister taking me. Like we might have to leave early, like 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Well, we'll
Cause
probably it's 11 o'clock, so it's going to be a 9 o'clock Tiger
yeah,
Walk.
Tiger Walk.
Yep. So it's going to be an early morning for everybody, buddy.
Yeah.
You got one more question for me? Nothing?
I think the defense backs will do good too.
They have been one of the more bright spots of this team. So I hope they keep continuing that way, especially, some of those guys at safety. Zion Puckett had a great game. Keontae Scott at cornerback had a pretty good game. So I agree with you. I think they will continue to do a lot better. All right.
War Eagle, I'll see you next
War
Saturday.
Eagle, buddy. Hope to see you Saturday.
Bye.
Bye. All right, that was Kevin. Thanks for calling in, Kevin. You guys can call in too. Just hit the link up above. We'll get back to your comments and questions here until someone else calls in. In the meantime, let me remind you of a couple things. All Things Auburn. Right there, you see their logo up in the top left of your screen. It should be allthingsauburn.net. Please do visit them. They are the people that bring to you the Auburn Family live stream each and every Wednesday night. They are a place that you can stay in Auburn when you are coming to there, whether it's for the sports or just the town, or just because you love Auburn and you want to be there. Hit up them at allthingsauburn.net. Tanya will get you hooked up, not just with a place to stay, but a full service where she will help you have the best possible Auburn experience. I have stayed there before and I've worked with them before, and I know how good people they are, and you will not be disappointed. Allthingsauburn.net. Shirtless Kevin and shirtless Bruce Pearl battle. I think Kevin wins that one. I just think we're going to give it to him, probably. Jabari literally made 7 points in 1 minute. So he made his first 3. I think I saw that somewhere. Yep. We all knew it was coming, right? He's that big of a talent. Is the game on TV? Oh, you're asking about the Jabari game. Yeah, the NBA games, that just depends on your area and what kind of service you have. Let's see here. I'm trying to follow some of the chats in here. We can't say Jimmy Rain on here. It's no proof that he's screwing up. Y'all just keep buying into all that. That's fine. It's an old, tired, no proof excuse for problems that have other reasons. That I can't buy into that anymore. It's until so, and I know that's like boring for me to say. It's not spicy. It's not. It's the thing that people want to kind of talk about and harp on. But I legitimately just need to see proof. If someone will come to me and say, I have firsthand account that Jimmy Rain, that X booster, that Y board of trustees is meddling in everything. Until then, it's just people making up excuses, in my opinion. But I'm not going to buy into it anymore until I see actual proof of it. There are bigger reasons why we are not able to be successful. And to me, I don't know that I've seen enough proof for that to be it. But I could be wrong. Bruce and Wendell seem to be positive about Chance's recovery. Well, I think it's been pretty positive the entire time, Auburn Elvis. He was scheduled, last I heard, 3 weeks, which would put him back at the start of the season. But even Bruce said in the latest press conference, which you can go, not the media days, but the one before that, go and watch on our channel, said that the way he talked about it, at least, indicated to me that it would be a few games in before we actually saw him, play significantly, because I think that it just makes sense, right? You want to rush someone back in, especially from a knee surgery. Should I do this? I'm not going to do it. Auburn hosts Arkansas next week in 11 a.m. start at Jordan-Hare. First game for Auburn after the bye week. You got it, Lee, right down there to the exact. It'll be nice to be back at home. It's weird to really think about. We spent the entire month of September and one day in October completely in Auburn, and it made the season almost feel longer than it actually is. It's normally I get through September. I'm like, where did the season go? And we got to the end of September. I'm like, are we ever going to go on the road? And we finally did. But I'm thankful that we are coming back home. Not this, obviously, Saturday, but the next. It'll be nice to be back. Did the bagman leave proof about Cam? You'll never have proof. There's always receipts. It's the matter of if we get to see them or not. So that's my whole thing. I'm just not going to buy into that narrative anymore. But you're more than welcome to, if that's what, makes you happy. Neil says that Auburn will beat Arkansas. I feel a lot better about the Arkansas matchup than I did 2-3 weeks ago. I think we all do, after seeing Auburn do a little bit better against Ole Miss than we thought. Frankly, had an opportunity, a really legitimate opportunity to win the game. We're back at home. Time to heal. Maybe figured a few things out in terms of personnel. We'll see if it carries over into a second game with that personnel. Who knows? I'm glad you're positive, and because we could use a lot more positivity amongst the Auburn family about football games. The great thing is the bulk of the tough opponents are now behind us. Ole Miss is behind us. LSU to some extent. I know they're not what they once were. Penn State, Georgia are all behind us. You've got Alabama at the very end, obviously. And I know Mississippi State's kind of scary. I'm not too scared of them at this point. By the way, we should say condolences to the Mississippi State football team and the family of the player that lost their life today, which was really sad to hear about. Yeah, Kevlar, I know I'm bouncing back to a lot of different conversations just because we're hitting different topic points in here. We all want a villain, right? Everybody wants a villain to root against, to fight against, to believe that you're on the good side, even when you're on the bad side. We tend to, as a society, I feel like, especially if you find yourself in and this is just my own speculation and opinion, so it's not saying it's true, but it's just how I feel about it. And this is like a more philosophical conversation than probably is even warranted. But we tend to, especially if you find yourself in the quote unquote middle class, which probably the majority of us do, tend to want to blame someone else for the bigger problems, especially those that we have some jealousy towards in terms of money, in terms of wealth, in terms of fame, in terms of influence. And that's just the big one out there. And here's the crazy thing. Probably, I don't know this, but probably something happened with, I'm not saying it's Jimmy Rain, but I'm using him as an example. Probably there's proof of something in the past, which gave people the reason to think this fool, that he still does this stuff or whatever booster. So the reality is the problem exists on both sides. There must be something that whole adage of where there's smoke, there's fire. There must have been something in the past to make people think that it could happen again, or else we're just being petty and wrong. I don't know. I just need to see proof of it. That's all it is. Chance reminds me of Davion Mitchell. If that is the case, we're going to be very, very thankful to have him. Davion Mitchell, I hate that we let him get away. I really, really do. Hope we are looking ahead. Western Kentucky. What? Maybe I'm missing the context with them. Saw an article today that Auburn fans don't care about Auburn football anymore. How in the heck do you ever come up with this crap? Oh, Devin, you have made it your mission today, haven't you, to go after those people? Listen, everybody's got a job to do, and people do what they think's right, even if it's wrong sometimes. I haven't read that article that you're speaking of. Frankly, I saw the headline and didn't care to read it because my job as a content creator is to get you to click. And I acknowledge that. And I try not to be, to lie to you, to mislead you guys just to get your clicks. I try to give you something of substance when I get you to click. And I'm not saying that's not happening there, but sometimes you play off of what you know will get a reaction, especially in the media. That's just my opinion. Could be wrong. It's literally legal to pay players now. The only thing that you get busted for is recruiting contact outside of the window, true law breaking stuff like Louisville did. It really, I can't disagree with that. Neil says, referring to that article, fans don't care about football is blasphemy. If you're saying that them inferring that is blasphemy, yeah, I think I understand. Again, I didn't read the article, but I understand probably the premise behind the article. It probably just wasn't either read or written the way that it was intended. I don't know. I don't care to read the article. I believe that if Bigsby does his job, we will win. Well, he did his job this time around, and we didn't win. So it's not just on one player. It's got to be the whole team. Wow. Oh, speaking of one of those comments there, we got those people back here. We're going to go ahead and hit that block user. They're gone now. Got to pass on Arkansas. Their D-line is really good. I haven't really dove deep into Arkansas and what to expect out of them yet, but that's a good little preview for next week when we get together and talk about that. By the way, if you guys ever have someone that you would like me to have on from an opposing fan base, because I go and find people when I can. I've had a Penn State person I knew, LSU fan, and then someone I got to know better through the process for Ole Miss that we had on, who was really great. Really enjoyed Jason. Yes, Jason, having him on and getting to know him a little bit better. So if you guys have an Arkansas fan, a Western Kentucky fan, a Mississippi State fan, who do we have left else? Texas A&M fan, an Alabama fan that you'd like me to have on, let me know. I will always be open to opportunities. Yes, one of the Dustbusters got back and I dusted the heck out of them. No, the article that I think that is being referred to, Kevlar, is by Brian Stoltz. Is that how you say his name? I think that's the one. I could be wrong. So Brian, if it wasn't you, I'm sorry if you somehow see this. But yeah. Get the legend caller from Feinbaum on here. Would love to roast him. There's some people that you can't roast even when you're roasting them because they're incapable of understanding that they're being roasted. And it just doesn't do any good, Neil, you are being... I can't bring that up, Neil. I can't bring that up, Neil. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. I wrote an article about that particular individual, and after their passing, I felt it was one of my better articles about it. It probably rubs people the wrong way about how we should look at that. But the website, if you haven't figured out, if you guys ever visit e2cnetwork.com, it's not up right now. We're working on some changes with that. So we'll have that up, and that's available on there. Find the most hillbilly Alabama fan you can and put them on. No, see, listen, that is entertaining for like 5 minutes, and then it just gets annoying. I want someone that I can cut up with, and I've got lots of Alabama friends. I know that's shocking, that I could bring on. And I'm thinking of even 2 right now that I think would be good. It's more fun when we can kind of crack on each other and everybody not get all offended, because the whole legend, the Tammy callers of, because that's an Auburn fan on the Feinbaum show. No, or unless she's not. Is she still alive? I can't remember who is and isn't still around these days. But regardless of that, the people that you think of, the stereotypical Auburn fans, to me, they lose their value after like 5 minutes of them. The novelty. Halftime. Jabari is 2 of 7, 1 for 4 from 3, 7 points, 2 rebounds. Hey, listen, rookie, first game or second game. He'll get better. It's only halftime, though. I have a few Alabama alumni in my family. You don't want them on the show. Trust me. I will take you at your word there. Courtney Cox is an Alabama alumni. I don't know that I can stomach watching Friends now. No. Big Snip, I don't get why you don't have way more subscribers. Great content. I appreciate you saying this, and this is. I'm gonna think about how I want to handle this. I've actually had it made fun of recently, and for the person who made fun of this about how we're smaller, that nobody cares about what we do, type of things, said it on social media this week. Obviously, if you're seeing this, all's forgiven. We've addressed it with each other. I kind of like that we're smaller. Not that I don't want to continue growing, because I need it to continue to grow, for it to continue to be a viable business and continue to do this for you guys and grow and change and get better. But I don't want us to just like explode and not build this thing organically. And not to say that people that aren't exploding are getting organically, but I'm kind of fine the way the things are right now, and they're going. I'm always innovating. I'm always trying to do new things and bring more people in. You guys are the biggest part about this, Big Simp. And I mean this wholeheartedly. Y'all are the reason that we grow, that we continue to change. I continue to try to innovate. So I appreciate all of you that are here, that watch live, that watch the videos that we put out, that watch the replays. It means a lot to me. So I appreciate the sentiment behind why I don't get more subscribers. They'll come. To me, it's not necessarily a numbers game. It is more about the quality, not the quantity. And that I do mean that. I'm not just saying that because that's the cliche, nice thing to say. Tammy died a few years ago. Bama had a similar fan on Feinbun called Phyllis. I have not watched Feinbun outside of him being on Auburn's campus a couple of weeks ago, and I stood there for like 20 minutes. That's about all I could take. Auburn Elvis. I read the article and I took it as general malaise that causes some to stay away from games, but the people who do go are still supportive. But you can't deny there's a general disappointment. No, I think there is a humongous disappointment. I'm disappointed as heck. I predicted a 9-3 season. I ain't getting that anymore. How dumb do I look? But again, I even acknowledged in the video where I made the prediction that this is based on what we knew at the time. If I knew what I knew now about this team, I would probably be predicting 6-6 because of the uncertainty of a lot of things. Not because I don't have belief they can do better, just because of everything, injuries, things that have worked and haven't, and have not worked and have worked. Yeah, it is a disappointment. I think what frustrates people, Auburn Elvis, is there seems to be a certain sentiment amongst many in the media, and that's not by happenstance. And maybe that's the whole point of this, to get a reaction. I don't know. I'm not them. I'm not trying to say that there's anything necessarily going on that way. I can see a slant a certain direction in a certain way to rile people up. And it happens more often than I personally would like I think that's what gets people upset about those type of articles. But that's just me. Here's that question. What about Dion? What about Dion? He's non-factor. I'm not trying to be mean, but he's a non-factor. We have a head coach. Rob says lots of YouTube podcast competition out there. There absolutely is. I said this, I think it was on after the live recording of the Auburn Experience show, which we do every single Sunday night, usually at 9, but sometimes it went later this last time because of some schedule things. And we spent some time before and after kind of doing this, just riffing, talking to each other. We talked about this a little bit, I think, then, that it's almost like I luckily got into YouTube about a year and a half ago, and it didn't seem like there was really anybody else taking it seriously except for like a handful of other people. And we all kind of started growing together. And then all the big players started to come in. And I'm not saying it's because they saw me or any one person in particular do it and jumped in, but it's kind of hard not to see that. And so now the bigger players have come in and are starting to eat up the algorithm. And so that's why you've seen things slow down from time to time. But that's what YouTube does. It goes up and down. Biggest way, honestly, the biggest way you can help is being here, smashing the like button, dropping a comment, even if it's, just a little War Eagle or something like that. They want to see engagement on videos. We got more NBA Auburn updates. Okiki has 2 points. Okoro is 0 for 1. Thor has not entered the game. Kessler plays in 22 minutes. Am I missing anyone? Cooper, Sharif over at Cleveland with Okoro but he's on what's his position? He may not actually be on like the roster, like the playing roster. He said the loyal Auburn fan base is apathetic toward Auburn football now. I just disagree. That is not what I say. Oh, no, they are not apathetic. They are anything but apathetic. A little bit too passionate sometimes. They're passionate in the wrong direction sometimes. And I include myself in that. I do. I've felt apathetic at times just seeing the same struggles so many times in a row wears you down. Oh, I get that. It really does. It can be a wear down, but that's, I think, why it's important. You get this better than anybody at Auburn, Elvis. It's important to have a well-rounded Auburn experience so that those don't wear you down more than they should. It's what we preach here. It's what we do here. It's why you have an Auburn equestrian show with us. It's why we do a track and field show. That's why we talk about things other than sports, because it's about having a experience that you have things to fall back on and not just do oh, it's basketball season now. It was funny like the first 5 times, but that's so dismissive of everybody else. Devin says, I just find it so hard to trust anything the media says. They are wrong about so much. Well, I'm the media. I'm not really the media. I'm kind of like a hybrid of that. I think there is, unfortunately, a certain persona that is put on by some media entities of holier than thou, of overly righteous. And I got accused of that this week a lot on my personal account, but it's funny. Those are the people that don't actually listen and get to know me before making that conversation. So maybe that's the thing I need to do too. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even be saying that, but I understand what you're saying. It is hard to trust for a whole lot of other reasons that aren't even sports related. We're just having like a therapeutic session right now, it feels like. Is that what this has evolved into tonight? I mean, that's fine. That's what these shows are for. By the way, we've got 10 to 15 more minutes. If you're going to call in tonight, please do. Don't waste your time. You'll miss out on an opportunity to call in. We'd love to hear from some of you. Numb rather than apathetic might be a good way to describe it. Numb is probably a good way. Resigned to the fate. I don't know if you should look at it as being resigned to your fate, just understanding context. And context can be a little bit numbing at times. Certified Cobra says Hawks win the finals. What does that have to do with anything? It says Auburn goes 15-0. I'm calling it like this season? Next season? Is that what you're saying? Dion might work, but at the end of the day, Dion will always be Dion. Dion will always be about Dion. He will probably never love Auburn, no matter how successful he might be. I'll disagree with you a little bit there. I think anybody, when they get here, it's hard not to love Auburn. I think I personally don't think Dion would be a good fit. I think Dion brings a lot to the table. But frankly, it's not a discussion that's even worth having because we don't have an opening right now, no matter how much some people want it. Yeah, Jared's not in the NBA right now, I don't think, at the moment. Yeah. There you go. Cavs waived him a couple of days ago. I thought it was Sharif that went to the Cleveland Cavaliers, unless that's what you're saying. Question: would you rather keep Sharif and Miss Wendell, Sep, and possibly Katie, or keep the three? I am not understanding that. Would you rather keep Sharif and get rid of Wendell? You're going to have to phrase that a little bit better. I am not understanding that. I am so sorry, Certified Cobra. Harper is currently playing in the Valencia basketball club in Euro, and you're going to see that a lot. Danjel Purifoy is apparently having the time of his life over, I think, in Europe basketball, international basketball right now, and is doing a really, really good job. Reef got waived. There you go. Thank you for clarifying that. Thank you, Devin, for that. Thank you, Devin. I appreciate that. Listen, so here's the thing about the NBA and Auburn this season. For the first time in my life, I have a reason to want to at least turn on an NBA game other than like the playoffs, just because I want to like peek in it and see what like. I will probably try to find a way to sit down and watch a game or two, especially, for Jabari, who we know will be playing, for Okoro and Okiki, who we know will be playing, JT as well. Listen, fact of the matter is you've got, was it 6 different guys on 5 different guys on 5 different teams? What's the number exactly? Opportunities to watch these guys. And when you get a game where 2 of the guys are going to be going head to head against each other, like we had a Okoro and Okiki last season, that's going to make for a good opportunity. Thank you, Tracy. Appreciate that. I always thought if Sharif stayed, we would never go into the portal and grab Wendell and company, if that helps. So you are asking, would I have traded keeping Sharif over Wendell? It's really hard to say because everybody plays with each other so differently. Like I hate to say it, but like Jared's not had the greatest success. And some of it's his size for the professional, but Jared Harper found his guys and his system that worked really, really well. So I can't say that just having Sharif Cooper, like trading him for Wendell, makes the team and him much better that season. You can only deal with the cards that you have at hand. So I like who we have when we have them. Would I have loved to have seen Sharif Cooper come in a year where we weren't on probation, where there was something to play for in the postseason, where there weren't other injuries involved? Yes. There's a lot of what if with Sharif had he had not come in injured, had he not had to sit out, we had not had probation. A lot of what ifs. Bryce Brown's in Turkey, man, that's way over there. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to say that. I'm sure you probably copied and pasted that in there. Robert, don't be a Debbie Downer. We'll take the Hilltoppers. That's not even a question. All of you that want Coach Harsin gone, if we lose the Hilltoppers, you'll get your wish. You will get your wish if that happens. Let's hope that Auburn doesn't have to deal with a loss to Western Kentucky. You did type copy and paste that. Yeah, I was going to say, how you find those characters on the keyboard, I know there's a way to do it. Good luck to you. That's all I'll say with that. That's how you say. All right. So what have we not hit today on this show? We've got a few more minutes still. What topics, what conversation pieces would you like to discuss? Doesn't even have to be really anything newsworthy. If there's something that we haven't hit that you'd like to, this is a good time to bring it up. Let me go and remind you of a few things. We're not going away just yet, but just want to take the opportunity before that to remind you to check out the links in the description for ways you can help support our content. You can be a Booster Club member. You can be a channel member by hitting the join button down there. $1 a month for both of those things. The Booster Club gets you some more perks. The being part of the channel membership program just means that you get an icon next to your name. You get to say, yay, I'm part of that. And there's other ways that you can support the content too. And you don't have to do any of that. Just being here, being part of our little family and the Auburn family is all that we ask you to do. Upcoming schedule, no preview show tomorrow. We are not previewing the bye week. Kyle's going to take the day off. Probably have some videos out for you later this week, just about certain topics and stuff to kind of tide us over to that. But the next scheduled live stream will be Sunday night, 9 Eastern time, for a live recording of the Auburn experience with myself and Austin. We'll be breaking down something about Auburn together. Well, usually 3 different topics. So don't miss that. But stay tuned and be subscribed because you never know what's going to pop up and what we'll have to talk about. What's a good website for Auburn baseball, AU baseball recruiting? You know, Rob, honestly, I was doing a little bit with this today, and not a shot at anybody that's doing that right now, but I don't think there's any. I think it's called Top Baseball. Baseball America seems to be like a publication they reference a lot in rankings and stuff like that. But in terms of recruiting, I don't know. We just got a brand new commitment from Tate Johnson, not the football player, coming to be either a pitcher or an infielder. I think he's listed at both. I was doing some research on him. And yeah, it's not an area that's been really well fleshed out yet. Kevlar, switching just briefly to women's basketball. Did I read they picked Auburn women to finish near the bottom of the SEC? I don't believe that. I think they will be good with Coach Johnny Harrison, but Harris, I see you fixed it later. Yeah, listen, I think I don't know enough about the team to make an educated assumption on what they're going to do. I don't see a world where they finish near the bottom again. Now, near is relative, right? Do you mean second to last like they were predicted, I think? Or do you mean like in the bottom 3rd or bottom 4th? It really just depends. I think we'll get a good idea, probably in non-conference play, what their competitive nature is going to be like. And it's really just the SEC and women's basketball is pretty dang tough. There's not a lot of parity, especially with South Carolina over there. And Dawn Staley, I think that her name is. I mean, not a lot of parity at all. I remember Javon and Austin very well. Loved having them on the team. I wonder why baseball recruiting is never really talked about on any major recruiting services. Well, okay. Whether this is about an Auburn thing or just a general college sports thing, there is a hierarchy in level of interest. You can simply look at my channel and see when the most interest is and when the least interest is. For Auburn, especially, so normally it would go football way up here, basketball way up here, baseball right here, and then everything else down below that. With Auburn, you've got football, basketball, and then baseball down here. Baseball just doesn't draw as much interest. And so nobody's invested. And that's what I found is, and when I say this is going to sound like I'm taking a shot at people, but I'm not. It does frustrate me when I see people finally take interest in a particular sport when it's convenient to do so, like they're winning, such as, I'll leave it at that, when we've been covering it forever and talking about it forever, but we don't have the exclusive rights to doing that. But it's just interesting that now you want to cover it once it's actually good to talk about it. So basically, you know, baseball recruiting doesn't draw that much interest. That's really the reason why, in my opinion. Wiley's in Germany and McCormick's in the EuroLeague. With one of those words, we're not going to try again. We've been learning a lot tonight about the pro aspirations and pro careers of some of our international players. Oh, I have heard about the Bananas Baseball League. Oh, and they're back. War Dustbuster alert. War Dustbuster alert. Blocking, blocking, blocking. Yeah, I have seen that. I kind of wish that they were a little bit closer. Or I had an opportunity to go see them because I probably would. I see the clips online. Go look up Banana Baseball if you haven't. It's an entertaining thing. And when I said that there's not as much interest, there's not as wide of an interest as football, as now basketball has become, especially for Auburn. But with Coach Thompson here, it could change for us. We'll need to take the team to Omaha a few more times to get attention. I disagree. I think he's gotten way more attention than most have gotten in the last couple of years. He will. Here's the reality. This is not a reflection on Coach Thompson or the baseball program. They will always play second fiddle to football and basketball. And frankly, that's probably not true. I'm standing by that it will always play second fiddle to that, but that doesn't mean that that's a bad thing. I'm just thankful that we have a program, a coach, and team that is worthy of us spending time on in the offseason, because I literally thought when we got done with basketball last year, like, no one's going to come back to the channel. And thankfully, we all had so much fun together during baseball season. We're going to be doing it again. I hope so, Neil. That was technically a weaker point at some times for us last year. So hopefully it won't be this point this year. All right. Final questions, comments, derogatory rebuttals. Get them in now. We're about to get out of here. Let me close out the phone line so nobody else tries to do so. But thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Like I said, if you've got a final comment or question, please do drop it. I'll address it real quick. But always appreciate you guys being here on Wednesday nights. I know there are a lot of other choices for you to be participating in Auburn wise, and it means a lot that you come here, that you spend time with me, that you hang out with me, because you guys are the best little family within the Auburn family, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. We need more. We need a game between the Savannah Bananas and Montgomery Biscuits. I don't think they play any minor league teams, right? They just kind of do their own thing. Number 6 recruiting class. There you go. So that was probably whoever asked about baseball recruiting. That was you, right, Rob? Baseball America, I think, is who ranked them the number 6 team. So maybe look at them if you're wanting that opportunity. Next year will mark 10 years since the Kick 6. Wow. Wow, that's a long time. Agreed. Stay safe. Hope we'll all be pulling from Mississippi State this weekend. You never got a chance to talk about the bye week. That's kind of what we've been talking about. All right, guys. Thank y'all so much for being here tonight. You are the best. I appreciate you being here, and I can't wait to see you either on Sunday or before them if something happens. Until then, though, War Eagle, my friends.